Dear students, in this session we will discuss about Longmire's theory of adsorption. Longmire's theory is one of the very important theory in the surface chemistry, for which the scientist Irving Longmire was awarded the Nobel Prize in the year 1938. This theory gives you an idea about the surface area adsorbed for a monomolecular layer of adsorption. Okay, and this theory is based on certain assumptions. The assumptions are: number one, the surface of the molecule, surface of adsorbent is uniform. The surface of the adsorbent is very uniform. Naturally, no surface is uniform. If you even look into a smooth surface with a microscope, it will have some ups and downs. So, but based on the assumption that surface is uniform, the Longmire's theory is derived. Okay. And the second assumption is the molecule adsorbed over the reactive sites is independent of each other. The molecule adsorbed is independent of each other. That means the molecule adsorbed at the one site do not interact with the molecule adsorbed at the neighboring site. The adsorption at one site is not disturbed by the molecule adsorbed at the neighboring site. Okay, so this is the second assumption. Okay, and third assumption is the adsorption is uniform at low pressure. Okay, and the fourth assumption is the adsorption of molecule is monomolecular by nature. Okay. So based on these assumptions, Longmire derived an adsorption isotherm equation. So let us deduce the isotherm equation by the Longmire. So let us see this as the adsorbent, the solid surface. The adsorbent is the solid surface, and this has got some reactive sites. Surface is uniform, and it possesses some reactive sites. All the reactive sites are equivalent, and the adsorbed molecule sits and occupies at some places. Okay, so the surface area adsorbed is this one. Okay, and this is the surface area which is unoccupied. Surface area which is unoccupied. Okay, so the surface area adsorbed is noted as theta. So at the end of the derivation, we are going to find this theta only. Okay, so the total surface area from here to here or from here to here can be noted as n. The total surface area up to this is called n. So what is the surface area which is unadsorbed? Then surface area which is unadsorbed, this area is equal to n into n minus theta or n into 1 minus theta. Okay, so let me repeat this again. On a metal surface, molecules are getting adsorbed at the reactive sites. The surface area adsorbed is theta, total surface area is n, then surface area which is unadsorbed or remaining vacant or ready for further adsorption is n minus theta. This total area minus this small area theta is the remaining area, n into 1 minus theta. Okay, so let us say this A is the molecule. Say I have taken this molecule. These are A, the gaseous molecule adsorbed for the metal surface. I get AM. Okay, and this is the forward reaction rate of adsorption. Rate of adsorption is rate constant of adsorption is Ka, and rate constant of the backward reaction from adsorbed side, it is, you will get once again the gas molecule and the metal. Okay, so this process is called the reverse of adsorption, called desorption. Okay, so forward reaction rate constant is rate constant of adsorption, and the reverse rate constant of the reverse reaction is called rate Kd, rate constant of desorption. Okay, so now let us find the rate of adsorption. What is the rate of adsorption? First, let us see to what are the factors this rate of adsorption depends on. Okay, so the rate of adsorption depends on the number of molecules. Rate of adsorption depends on the rate of adsorption depends on pressure on the molecule A. PA, you can say this PA. Okay, so if you increase the pressure, the rate of adsorption increases. Okay, and then the adsorption depends on number of molecules on the site. Number of molecule is N, and the surface area which is available ready for adsorption, that is 1 minus theta. Okay, so so adsorption takes place only at the vacant place and not at the occupied place. Okay, so on hence I write this rate of adsorption is directly proportional to pressure on the molecule and number of sites that is unoccupied. Okay, given into 1 minus theta. So if I remove this proportionality, then this becomes Ka Pa n into 1 minus theta. Rate of adsorption is equal to Ka Pa n into 1 minus theta. So now let us see rate of desorption. Okay, so rate of desorption depends on factors like number of molecules that is occupied, on the surface area which is already adsorbed. Number of molecules occupied on the surface area already occupied. The surface area occupied is theta. Okay, and it is independent of the pressure. We don't include the term pressure here. Okay, it is independent of desorption is independent of pressure. So if I remove this proportionality constant, then this becomes rate constant of desorption n into theta. Okay, then a further assumption is made at equilibrium. At equilibrium, the rate of adsorption is equal to rate of desorption. Rate of adsorption is equal to, so rate of adsorption is equal to rate of desorption. Rate of adsorption is equal to rate constant of adsorption, pressure Pa n into 1 minus theta. Rate of desorption is equal to Kd n into theta. Okay, so if I equate these two terms will cancel off. So I can write this Ka by Kd into Pa 1 minus theta is equal to theta. Okay. Now let us write this whole term Ka by Kd, rate constant of adsorption divided by rate constant of desorption, can be written as one single term, capital K, equilibrium adsorption constant. So this can be written as K Pa into 1 minus theta is equal to theta. Okay, so let me write this. Kpa is equal to theta by 1 minus theta. Okay, so I want this term theta. I want this term. I want theta to be calculated. So I just for convenience I write 1 by Kpa is equal to 1 minus theta by theta. Okay, and I write this here. 1 by Kpa is equal to 1 by theta minus theta by theta. I can write this equation 1 minus theta by theta as 1 by theta minus theta by theta. So 1 by Kpa is equal to 1 by theta minus 1. So in this way I can rewrite this equation 1 by Pa plus 1 is equal to 1 by theta. Okay. Then this equation can be rearranged. 1 plus Kpa whole divided by Kpa. 1 plus Kpa whole divided by Kpa is equal to 1 by theta. Then what is theta? Theta from this equation is theta is equal to Kpa whole divided by 1 plus Kpa. So this is the equation I have got. This equation is called Langmuir's adsorption isotherm. This equation is called Langmuir's adsorption isotherm. Theta is nothing but the surface area occupied in a okay. And but this equation is valid under ideal conditions. Okay. So first of all, no surface is uniform. The surfaces are heterogeneous by nature. And number two, at low pressure, the monomolecular molecule can be formed. But at a higher pressure, again this condition becomes invalid. Okay. And then let us study how this isotherm, Langmuir's isotherm varies at different pressures. Okay, so let us see about at low pressure. At low pressure. Okay, at low pressure in the sense when Kpa okay is less than what? Kpa is far less than 1. Okay, so in that case the equation theta becomes equal to Kpa divided by Kpa. This Kpa is far less than 1. In the sense this will vanish. Theta is equal to 1. So I make a correction here. So when Kpa at low pressure, Kpa is far less than 1. In the sense this value becomes absolutely very less value. So theta becomes equal to Kpa whole divided by 1. So this value becomes a negligible when PA is far less than 1. So you can say, assume this value as 1 and this value is 0.000 something. It is very, very less. So when compared to 1, this value becomes a negligible one. So theta becomes now is equal to kPa. So theta is directly proportional to pressure Pa. So at low pressure, the surface area absorbed increases with the increase in pressure. Okay. Now second condition, at high pressure, so when kPa is far greater than 1, value of kPa is far greater than 1. In this case, 1 becomes negligible. So let me write theta is equal to kPa whole divided by kPa. kPa by kPa. So 1 is negligible. So if I cancel these two, this become equal to 1. So theta is equal to 1. So at this case, the surface area absorbed theta is independent of pressure. It is independent of pressure. So the reaction is first order at low pressure and the reaction is zero order with respect to high pressure. Okay. So if I draw a graph between the amount absorbed, theta at pressure at constant temperature, the system is studied at a constant temperature, I find a curve of this type. Okay, so this is at low pressure, theta is directly proportional to PA or kPa dash. So at high pressure, the absorption increases with the increase in pressure up to certain value, and then it reaches a saturation. There will be a saturation at a very high pressure, because you can find at low pressure, if you keep on increasing the pressure, the absorption increases. Absorption increases. At one particular point, all the sites becomes occupied. All the sites are occupied. There won't be any more further reactive sites available for the new atom which is entering in. Okay. So and therefore, even if you increase the pressure, there will not be adsorption. So adsorption, amount adsorbed become a maximum or saturated. So this is at high pressure, this is at low pressure. At high pressure, theta is equal to 1. Theta is equal to 1, which is independent of a pressure. Okay. So at low pressure, this equation theta is equal to kPa power 1. So the amount adsorbed is directly proportional to pressure, hence Pa power 1. So at high pressure, theta is equal to Pa to the power 0, which is independent of pressure. Okay. So at intermediate pressure, theta is equal to kPa to the power n. At the intermediate pressure, theta kPa to the power n. N, which lies between 1 to 0. Lies between 1 to 0. That means at intermediate pressure, the reaction is fractional order. At low pressure, the rate of adsorption is first order, and at high pressure, the rate of adsorption is zero order with respect to pressure. At intermediate pressure, the rate of adsorption is fractional order. Okay. So only at this intermediate pressure, this equation theta is equal to kPa by 1 plus 1 plus kPa holds good. Okay, so if I compare this equation, okay, so theta is directly proportional to, pressure of the gas. The pressure of the gas, look at here, this amount absorbed A is directly proportional to the surface area which is absorbed. The A is amount absorbed directly proportional to surface area which is absorbed. Then if I remove this, A is equal to K1 into theta. Okay, and this if I substitute theta here in this equation at a high pressure, at low pressure, A is equal to K1 KPA into KPA to the power at intermediate pressure. Okay, and these two constants can be combined, so I can get A equal to KPA to the power n. A is equal to KPA to the power n. So this is again the Friedrich equation which we have seen earlier. So Longmire adsorption isotherm proves the Friedrich adsorption isotherm. Okay, so I will recollect you the points once again. Longmire's adsorption isotherm is a theory used for deriving adsorption isotherm for a monomolecular layer of adsorption. So Irving Longmire, who contributed to a greater extent for surface chemistry, was awarded the Nobel Prize for his contribution. He derived this adsorption isotherm based on certain assumptions. What are those assumptions? Assumption 1, the surface area is uniform, homogeneous by nature. Number 2, the adsorbed molecules are independent of each other. The number of molecules adsorbed at one site is not disturbed by the neighboring molecule which is adsorbed. This is the second assumption. The third assumption, the adsorbed molecules are in equilibrium with the desorbed molecule. There is always an equilibrium between adsorption and desorption. Okay, so then he derived an equation for adsorption and desorption. So at equilibrium, the rate of adsorption become equal to rate of desorption. So we have derived the value theta. Okay, so theta equal to kPa by 1 plus kPa. So the equation is applied at various pressure. At low pressure, the equation become directly proportional to pressure. At low pressure, the amount adsorbed is directly proportional to pressure. That means on increasing the pressure, the adsorption increases at low pressure. Okay, so and it reaches the saturation because upon increasing the pressure, all the surface sites gets occupied and there won't be any more site for occupation. Surface area unavailable becomes 0. So in that case, at a high pressure, the rate becomes independent of pressure. So we have derived P when kPa is far less than 1. Okay, the equation theta is equal to kPa to the power 1. Okay, and at high pressure, theta is equal to 1. Okay, so Pa to the power 0 and is independent of pressure. So and then at intermediate pressure, the reaction is fractional order. Okay, so and then the Longmire equation proves the Friedrich adsorption isotherm. Okay, so this is a basic theory upon which the various processes in adsorption isotherm can be studied. Okay, so based on this, the multimolecular layer of adsorption can also be the theory for multimolecular layer of adsorption can be extended. Okay, based on the importance of the theory, this theory was given the Nobel Prize. Okay. So Longmire's theory of adsorption is most valid for physical adsorption, because in the physical adsorption there is always a monomolecular layer of adsorption is being formed. Okay, I mean multimolecular layer of adsorption is being formed, whereas in chemical adsorption the monomolecular layer of adsorption is being formed. But in the physical adsorption, the equation is based on certain assumption. Okay, at a low pressure only this equation Langmuir's theory holds good, but at high pressure the multimolecular layer of adsorption will get formed and this equation become absolute. Okay, and there is another assumption which does not hold good at high pressure, that is the molecule do not move around the surface. Molecules stick to the particular surface. So at low pressure the molecule can stick to the pressure. When you increase the pressure the molecule move around. Okay, so we have advantages as well as limitations for this Langmuir's theory of adsorption. Okay, I hope you have understood the Langmuir's theory adsorption isotherm and you can follow the derivations. If you have any questions you can post it in the comment box. Thank you very much.